Welcome to Dare Miss Mondays. I'm Craig. How's it going, guys? So Ollie hurt his leg, and that prevented us from doing our live session video. So we're gonna have to reschedule that, unfortunately. Ollie, I hope you're feeling better. Today, Ollie's very busy. He is working on band stuff. He's working on the remix that he's doing. This week, I thought I would just give a quick update on some albums that I've been listening to recently. And I mean, they're all a bit oddball. Of course, they're all totally different, but if you're looking for something different to listen to, this is what I've been listening to. So the first album is The Nightfly by Donald Fagen. Donald Fagen, of course, from Steely Dan fame. This is his first solo album, and it's one of the best albums you've not heard if you've not heard it. It's an evolution of the Steely Dan sound. It's taken Gaucho and then just going in a different direction with it. It's one of the best engineered stroke recorded albums ever made. I'm not just saying that. That is very true. It's an amazingly recorded album. The detail, attention to detail is incredible. It features a $100,000 drum machine from 1982 at the time that they used to quantize the drums and blend drum machine with real drums without anyone really noticing, and that's now standard practice, so it pioneered modern production techniques in that sense. In terms of actual content, lyrically, this is what Donald Fagen said. The songs in this album represent certain fantasies that might have been entertained by a young man growing up in the remote suburbs of a northeastern city during the late 50s and early 60s, i.e. one of my general height, weight and build. Songs like The New Frontier, IGY, The Nightfly itself, they all kind of depict a world where everyone's a jazz nerd and everything's going to be great, and we're moving on from the war, and you know, it's an opportunity for self-expression, and this album really captures that. It's obviously because it's been recorded by a member of Steely Dan, features some of the best all-time musicians, the usual suspects like Larry Carlton's here, Chuck Rainey, Jeff Porcaro. If you're a music nerd, I would recommend this album. If you're an audiophile production nerd, it's a shame they've never re-released the vinyl. Anyone that's into the Dan and hasn't heard of this album, highly recommend it. Each song is a standout in its own way. It goes into different styles. There's some amazing calypso style marimba playing, really great tributes to the 50s style rock and jazz. I wish I heard it earlier, that's all I can say about the album. The next album, Prince, Sign of the Times. So this is one that I've always listened to. I've never really fell away from listening to this album since I heard it. It's 1987. Prince's drum machine's starting to sound a bit played out at this point, but the charm of this album is how he uses it, and his songwriting is just a cut above a lot of the stuff he'd done before. So originally this was supposed to be 3 different albums, and his record label said no, you're getting one, and put it all together as Prince. The revolution at the time had came to an end. This is just Prince flexing his funky muscles, some amazing bass playing from him, some of his best guitar playing, some really dancey tracks, some really funky tracks, some kind of storied tracks like he's done in the past. There's an amazing live track, It's Going to Be a Beautiful Night. If you watch the live version of this, if you can get hold of it, halfway through the track, Prince goes from playing guitar, singing. Next minute, Sheila E., who is the drummer and also Prince's wife at the time, of course, they swap instruments and she starts rapping and dancing, and Prince starts playing the drums without missing a beat. How do you do that? Every time I watch it, I'm just like, he takes a stick and then he puts his foot on the kick pedal. It's so impressive how they just switch without even missing a beat. I don't know how you do that. Anyone that saw the Sign of the Times tour, super jealous. It's one of the best. I'd say it's probably the best Prince album. Obviously a lot of people have heard Purple Rain. If you're not really mad on Prince, and you've never heard this album, maybe worth a listen. It's a different kind of style. There's a lot of transgender vibes as well, which are oddly ahead of their time, going on in this album. A lot of the tracks are speeded up so that Prince sounds like a woman. Just one of his crazy ideas at the time, but some of the tracks here are just some of the best Prince tracks he probably ever recorded. So the next album, Cowboy Bebop soundtrack by the Seatbelts, which are a band that was put together for Cowboy Bebop anime. Anyone knows the background here. Cowboy Bebop. I'm a fan of the anime. I'm not the biggest fan of anime in general, but I do quite like an anime from time to time. Cowboy Bebop is my favourite. I've rewatched it so many times. Every time I watch it, I pick up something different. If you're not a fan of anime, I wouldn't recommend you go out your way to watch Cowboy Bebop unless you look at the art and you think, could I watch this for 24 episodes? You know, it's basically like 2 seasons. They're easy to watch, but it's very of its time, and I just have a thing for it. I think it's really well written. I think there's some amazing characters. It's quite adult. A lot of animes aren't very adult. It's sci-fi. I like sci-fi. It has countless references to classic movies, classic music as well. So every episode's called a session, and a lot of the episodes are named after rock and roll songs, jazz songs. And the soundtrack is just, it makes the show, is what I realised after I watched it the last time. Netflix recently rebooted Cowboy Bebop as a live action thing. Don't watch it, it's terrible. Just, if you're going to watch anything, watch the anime. If you watch the anime you think that's quite cool, just listen to the soundtrack, because that's where a lot of the emotion comes from, and it takes the anime to another level, in my opinion. It's what separates it from any other anime. A lot of the soundtracks, big band, horns, and it's really high energy, fast paced, fast playing, really technical playing, really quite impressive songwriting. There's some amazing people that analyse it on YouTube. Check that out. There's also some tracks that are everything from blues, slide guitar, harmonica, to like, there's an episode about it's like a tribute to blaxploitation films. There's like Shaft-esque soundtrack stuff on here. There's some incredible piano playing, some mad synthesizer. There's Blade Runner-esque saxophone music as well. There's your stereotypical Japanese anime music, if you're into that. Thankfully, the way they've split this up, it's all sort of, all that's on one side, which is quite cool. Some of the track names are just classic as well, like Digging My Potato, Bad Dog, and Old Biscuits. There's an amazing dog character in the anime. As a soundtrack, it serves the purpose of, it takes you back to watching the episodes. It's a lot quicker to listen to the soundtrack than it is to watch the full season of Cowboy Bebop, so it's a great way to get back into the series if you just want a quick hit of bebop. The songs stand up on their own. The great thing about the soundtrack that separates it from the anime is that there's a lot of extended bits that aren't there, extended jams from the band. As a musician, some of the playing here is incredible. Really talented people played on this. It's interesting also to compare it to the reboot soundtrack, where they've redone a lot of the instrumentation and stuff like that. Plus, this as a record to own is just so cool. It looks cool. I love the artwork. It's a lovely limited edition, and it's how a limited edition should be done. Hard to get hold of though. That's what I've been listening to. If you're looking for something a wee bit different to listen to, check out these albums. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have probably listened to Sign of the Times, but maybe the hard thing to do is to listen to Cowboy Bebop. Unfortunately, it's hard to find on streaming services. The Nightfly is also oddly difficult to find for some reason. I don't think it was big at the time, but I feel like it's kind of been lost a wee bit. Fortunately, Sign of the Times got a remaster, so you can now listen to that in good quality. What have you been listening to? I'd love to know. I'm always on the lookout for new music. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some more band-related content. See ya!